Okay friends, so this is another one of those days where I go into the fridge and I want to do some cleanup and get rid of some stuff. So I found like the littlest bit of spinach and some parsley. I've got some feta cheese. I've got lots of flour. So I decided, okay, maybe I'll do a bit of baking. So I'm gonna make some Gozleme, which is a Turkish kind of a savory flatbread, like a filled treat. So come on with me and let's do this. To begin, we're going to need 3 cups of flour. So I'm using 2 cups of all-purpose regular flour and 1 cup of spelt flour. And because I'm using 2 different types of flour, I'm just going to mix that all together so the spelt and the all-purpose is well mixed. Now in a large mixing bowl, I'm going to add 250 milliliters of lukewarm water, a teaspoon of salt, and 4 tablespoons of milk. Now I'm going to start adding in my flour and just mix it slowly. So just a little bit at a time, and then start to mix this up. So what we're striving for is a soft, non-sticky dough. Now comes the fun part of kneading our dough for about 3 to 4 minutes on a lightly floured board. This is fun. I just love the feeling of dough in my hands. I know some people think making dough is hard. And I guess it kind of is, because a lot of it is just feel and texture. But the more you do it, the better you get at it. Now that our Gozleme dough is ready, I've just sprinkled some flour over top of it, covered it with some plastic. I'm just going to put it to the side here while I work on the filling on the inside. So I'm going to take my parsley and my spinach. I don't have a lot left of this stuff, but like I say, I just want to use it up. So we're just going to chop that up fine. Just get that into little pieces. And put all that into our mixing bowl. Now I'll chop up the parsley. Now to our filling, I'm going to add about half of a medium-sized onion. So just chop that up really, really fine. This is going to give it a really good flavor. This onion always gives good flavor. Wow, my eyes are just burning. Okay, so now to our onion that's chopped up, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. And this is going to help pull the juices or the flavor out of the onion. Okay? Wow, my eyes are like seriously burning here. Add our salted onion to our spinach and parsley. Now to our Gozleme filling, I'm going to add a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. These were given to me by a friend of mine from Korea. I use these to make kimchi, which is another video I should do, but these are super hot and nice. So a teaspoon of that, and then some sweet paprika. So we'll add about the same of that. And some black pepper. Oops, got a lid on after. And we'll give this a little stir. Next to our gozleme, I'm gonna add about 200 grams of feta cheese. So I'm just gonna take a hunk of that, which is roughly half of that container, because that's 400 grams, and I'm just going to break this apart loosely into our mixture. Like so. Then I'm just going to start to mix it all together. And this smells incredible. Now we're gonna go back to our flour now that our filling is done, and I'm just gonna put some flour on the counter here. I've made some room. You know, one thing about my place is I have a very small counter service, and if I ever design my own kitchen, I'd make sure I had a lot of counter space, and even like an island in the middle would be really nice where I could just lay everything out and do what I wanted to do. But our dough turned out really, really nice. It's not too sticky. It's just perfect. So we're just gonna roll this out here, but first we're going to cut this into little pieces to make our gozleme. I'm gonna cut this once in half. And then I'm gonna cut them into just little chunks. Now I don't want these too big, so I'm gonna make them kind of smaller. You can make them really as big as you want, but basically what we're going to be doing is rolling these things out. So once we get them, just make these into little balls. And just kind of put them on the side here. So as I'm getting ready to roll out my gozleme, I'm gonna just start to heat up a pan here on medium-high heat with a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit. And in Turkey, they have these really thin little rolling pins that look like a broom handle, which I'm gonna have to get, probably make one, but this is a French style. So anyway, I'm gonna use this. So I've just covered my little ball of dough in flour, and I'm just gonna start to roll it out thinly. So just little by little. Wow, this really turned out nice dough. Perfect dough. And just sort of get it on there and roll it out. Just keep adding a bit of flour. It's starting to stick a little bit. So ideally what you want is a nice big circular piece of dough that's rolled pretty thin. So this is actually very good size. Perfect. Okay, now we'll take some of our gozleme filling, and we're just gonna fill one side. Not too much, but enough of this half moon here, and keep some room on the edge. So again, make sure your cheese is well smoothed out, because you want this to be kind of thin. Once filling is in place, fold over and seal. And now comes the fun part of transferring to the pan. Let's put it into our pan and let it cook, and do the same thing with the next one. After a few minutes on one side, flip it over and cook the other side. Wow, I have to say these Gozleme are simply delicious. For my first time making these, this is definitely a redo. So good. If you like Turkish food, hit like. If you like my videos, hit subscribe. Thanks for joining me.